treasure of God. The purpose of this incarnation is the realization that you are the treasure of God, the precious treasure that extends love, that extends the power of God with everyone that you meet and everyone that you have connection with and everyone that you think of. You are the treasure that recognizes all the treasure within life, and you recognize everything as God's treasure. How do you connect with God's treasure? How do you convey God's treasure? How do you honor God's treasure, both within and in every beloved, in every part of life, everything that is living, that is eternal, beyond the form, is the treasure of God, forever existing as God's treasure. There have been many masters and saints that have come to walk on the earth, and possibly you consider them exalted or different or special, but they are reflections of God's treasure. They bring the message of God's treasure. They demonstrate God's treasure, and they invite every beloved to remember that the treasure is your wholeness, your life force, your heart. The journey of remembering is a calling that strikes deep within the heart and awakens the heart and the mind to begin remembering, to begin to shed the dream, to shed the trance of separation, of separate identity, of a little identity. Everyone that has incarnated and begins the spiritual journey of remembering, at the beginning, everyone sees themselves as small. Or, if that is too fearful to see yourself as small, many choose a puffed up version, but the smallness is still the fear within. Step by step, in faith, in trust, the false is shed, and the truth illuminates within, step by step. every day, every situation, every beloved that comes into your awareness is part of that step. When you wake up in the morning, as an initiate of love, every morning begins with the question, who will I honor today? Who will I recognize in the light? And who will I serve? And who will come into my life to teach me a deeper step, a deeper surrender? Every day filled with divine opportunity to go deeper, to expand the heart center and surrender the mind. Every day, maximal opportunity of healing. In the incarnation of love, you can take it or leave it. If you choose to leave it and avoid it, the only decision that you've made is to delay. The delay may seem safer, but there is actually nothing of safety in the world of illusion. But in the universe of love, all safety is yours. The end of protection, the end of defense, the end of strategizing, the end of fear, and the end of hate. All illusion, all made up in the mind. Your journey home can be simple, painless, and quick. But most choose the longer road, not realizing at the end of the road, when you look back, everyone who looks back realizes, oh, I made that difficult. I made that a battle. I could have just stepped right in. Treasure of God. As you accept the treasure that is within the heart of gold, the light takes you deeper and deeper. And at a certain point in the journey, you're no longer willing to be afraid of love, truth, peace. and you're no longer afraid of equality. Imagine a life without competition. The made-up competition of scarcity just disappears. Never was. The illusion can disappear from your mind as you relinquish the belief in it. The celebration of healing is the most monumental ceremony and celebration. It is the journey of your life, and you have chosen to remember. You have chosen to come home. You have chosen to remember the truth of love itself. As you awaken, there is great celebration and great laughter. As you look back at the different identities that you took on, it almost was as if every identity was to express the misery of humanity. And now, laughing with joy, you accept that the nightmare is gone. And even the dream itself disappears. And the eternal truth is one with you. Treasure of God. Don't shy away from being the treasure of God. The treasure is the light that blesses all creation and meets itself with everyone. Treasure of God. Allow yourself to receive your welcome home. Right now, right here. Letting go of all past associations with differences, levels, degrees, identities. Let everyone be seen through the heart of love. One minute to midnight and the sky is turning black. 1 minute to midnight and there's no turning back. I'm going home, I'm going home, I'm going home to stay. 1 minute to midnight and my train is pulling in. 1 minute to midnight and my new life will begin. Love calls me home, love calls me home, love calls me home for good. 1 minute to midnight and the bells begin to chime. 1 minute to midnight, they tell me that it's time to turn toward the light, turn toward the light, turn toward the light of my home. 1 minute to midnight as I bandage up my heart. 1 minute to midnight as I let the healing start. I will receive, I will receive, I will receive my welcome home. It is that simple to receive your welcome home. The only caveat as you receive your welcome home is that nothing that is temporary goes with you. Only the permanence of love reveals itself as the eternal truth of your heart. Here I am, declaring the love within this heart. Here I want to affirm the love of our Divine Mother that I must forever love. Here in the school of love, I've come to give thanks to all divine beings within the light of our Divine Mother. I am here to praise and never to aggrandize myself. I have been small with the size of love, but within the truth of light, I am a great love. To love together with all beloveds, all of us together praising God. Here, within this power of love, we gather to give thanks to our Divine Mother and Father as we acknowledge the healing that we are receiving within the heart, loving and giving thanks. Eu aqui vou seguindo, declarando o amor dentro do meu coração. Eu aqui quero afirmar o amor de nossa Mãe, para sempre eu amar. Aqui na escola do amor, eu venho agradecer a todos os seres divinos dentro da luz de nossa Mãe. Para sempre vou louvar e nunca me agradecer. Sou pequeno do tamanho do amor para dentro desta luz. O grande amor é padecer, amar junto com os meus irmãos, todos nós seguindo juntos. Eu, Deus, puder louvar. Aqui dentro do poder, devemos agradecer a nosso Pai, a nossa Mãe. As curas que vamos recebendo dentro do coração, amando e agradecendo. The healing we are receiving within the heart, loving and giving thanks. To be in gratitude for all the healing that is offered in every moment, even when it's not accepted. To realize that it is always being offered. that the guidance of love is always in one breath with you, waiting for your invitation, waiting for your questioning, waiting for your communication, patiently waiting, with no judgment, but with complete compassion, the compassion of recognizing that the resistance shows up and love continues to wait patiently. A golden compass. Forget every idea of right and wrong any classroom ever taught you, because an empty heart, a tormented mind, unkindness, jealousy, and fear are always the testimony that you have been completely fooled by the illusion. Turn your back on those who would imprison you and your wondrous spirit with deceit and lies. Turn away from the illusion and see only the truth of oneness. Come, join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed, indeed, God is real. I will lead you into the circle with the ones you can trust for true guidance, who can aid you in the blessed calamity of life. Blessed, look at this perfect one at the circle's center. He spins and whirls like a golden compass beyond all that is rational, to show this dear world that everything, everything in existence points to God. There is a golden compass. The golden compass is centered in your heart, leading you, teaching you. The spirit of love is there within your heart, waiting to be asked, waiting to be used with guidance, with love. But can you forget every idea of right and wrong any classroom has ever taught you, considering that your all incarnation is a classroom, and the illusion has taught the lies of separation? When you look at it in clarity, it's like colluding with the illusion that has not 1 inch or 1 ounce of consideration for you. Imagine spending your life with a spy that wants you brainwashed into the lies of separation. And it looks so tempting. It looks so promising. And it's so shiny that you keep going toward it, even though there is a place within you that realizes this can't be the truth. This can't be the source of love. How can cheating be the source of love? How can unkindness be the source of love? How can jealousy be the source of love? How can fear be the source of love? And hatred. This is the bill of goods that is sold in the world. To compete, to win, to prove, and to have as many allies as possible in the illusion. And yet, love has called you to step out of the illusion and stand in the light where you truly belong. Is it easy to stand in the light? Absolutely. It's natural. But the convincing has been that lack and darkness are the way. But one by one, each beloved sees the truth and accepts the treasure of God. Forget every idea of right and wrong any classroom ever taught you. Imagine your life without right and wrong, without battle, without agreement. How many beloveds would you need to convince to join you in right and wrong? And yet, every beloved of truth says, no, come this way. Come this way, dear, and stop the nightmares that you've carried. Turn your back on those who would imprison your wondrous spirit with deceit and lies. It's turning your back on the illusion, not on the beloved. How do you bring love to every beloved? By seeing them in their innocence and seeing yourself in that same innocence, but no longer wanting to have allies of illusion, wanting to bring peace and harmony to each beloved, wanting to bring innocence and letting the story of the past fall away and connecting in the heart. Come and join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed God is real. These are the allies, the courageous ones that are determined to bet their entire world that God is real. Give strength to each other in the truth. Hold the truth together in love. And every beloved who has not realized that God is real or accepted that God is real, you step a little closer and you embrace their beauty, you embrace their innocence, but you don't join them in the illusion of separation. The learning to love is the classroom of this lifetime. We shouldn't have to learn to love when everyone is love. But in the belief of separation and forgetting, love was forgotten. And the treasure of God was buried and not recognized. Look at the perfect one. He spins and whirls like a golden compass beyond all that is rational, to show this dear world that everything in existence does point to God. It's the willingness to find that treasure in everyone and in everything, and within, always within. Who can be your competition in this world? No one. You have no competition. No one has any competition. It's all for love. All for love. Can you accept that you are the divine spirit of God and sink into that awareness and meet the divine spirit that is within you? To refer to yourself as the holy child of God, the treasure of God. When somebody asks your name, is the first thought to say, this is the name that I have lived with all my life? Or is the voice within your heart saying, holy child of God, that is my name. That is the truth, holy child of God. In that embrace as the holy child of God, the acceptance that that is your true identity. The name that you came with falls away, becomes thin, non-essential. And there may be even times when you forget what it is. And that will be a day of healing. All your statistics, all the ideas that you have statistics and that everybody else has statistics, and that the more statistics that you know, the more prize you get from the illusion, instead of my love, my beloved, holy child of God. And no longer holding anyone as their identity within the world. And everyone you meet becomes your beloved. Imagine you're driving in the car and all that you can sing is, I am the beloved of God. Singing, I am the beloved of God. I am, I am, I am. And no longer hiding from it, no longer being shy of it, no longer finding an embarrassment of that declaration, but standing in the light as the treasure of God. I am the holy child of God. Are you different from the masters and saints that have walked this earth and have come to help all of humanity? No, you're not different at all. Fear says, I want to hold my identity. But love is calling you to realize there can't be any identity held. It's made up. Just like all the rights and the wrongs that every classroom has taught, the identity that you took as real was never true. Never true. And then you begin to question, what am I? What am I here for? And can I put my faith in God to join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed God is real? Touch that courage within you, because eventually you will touch that courage. So why wait? To be the courageous who accepts that God is real and that only God is real and that everything of love is that reality. The truth is that the fear of death is a very binding temptation to agree that death is real, to live within the sorrow of death, to live within the belief of loss, is the cruelest lie. The cruel lie of believing in sadness, the cruel lie of believing in death, the cruel lie of agreeing that there is loss is part of the courageous choice that God is real and these things cannot exist. To truly accept that there is no death and that there can be no separation of love, and there can be no wrongdoing. There can be no victims and no perpetrators. And every perpetrator believes that they're a victim. But all of this, these lies, are being called to be let go. The treasure of God is what you are. The holy child of God is what you are. The world holds that the belief that there is no death is blasphemy, that it's sacrilegious to hold that in your heart, that there is no death. And yet, the full purpose of the beloved known as Jesus walking on this earth was to demonstrate that he could not die for everyone, not as he can't die and he's the only one. No, no one can die. No beloved can stop life. Every life continues. Every life is the life of God. And in the oneness of returning to the heart, you'll find that everyone that ever walked this earth is still completely in God's life, living in the life force of God, the Spirit of God. Can you switch back and forth between being part of the illusion and then switch back to believing in God? You can, but with pain and suffering. To go back and forth, to have loyalty to the earth plane and the limitation of everything that is temporary, every relationship of identity being temporary, not the truth of the relationship, but the identity of it made up. And to go back into that and then try to come back into truth is cruel. And that's why one of the essential elements of guidance is to whisper to you, stay here in the truth. Don't let your mind wander into the illusion when you can stay here and rest in the peace of love. But the going back and forth is like a gambling addiction. As soon as you hear the cards shuffle, as soon as you hear the chips clicking, God is forgotten, and the addiction takes over. That's the shiny objects of the world. And with the shiny objects of the world, problems have to be part of that. There's almost a deliciousness in the world of hooking into problems, believing that they say something about you or they give you some kind of identity, or you join with others that have problems and then your problems are shared. There's a beautiful declaration. You cannot die, and you cannot be anything else than the light of God. Don't allow the seduction of the temporary to take you. What the ego tries to convince is that when there is a belief of a problem, you can just go visit for a little while. Go visit the problem, talk about it, ruminate about it, hash it over. But then when you try to come back to truth, you realize that the illusion is kind of pulling you, covering you, and you thought you could just dance with it for a while and then let it go. But there is a place in the healing of love that calls everyone to realize you have to respect the illusion, because it has your power in it. And as it's been given your power, it pulls. It pulls for you to stay in the illusion, just to visit for a while. That pull doesn't let up. It keeps pulling. And the antidote, the medicine for it, is to stay as deeply in the truth of love, giving the mind to God, declaring the love within your heart. Here I am declaring the love within my heart, declaring my alignment with love and all creation. Here I am declaring the love within my heart. The old world of your past says, come and revisit. And love says, here I am declaring the love within my heart. I must love. I'm here to remember. I'm here to transform and to be that divine treasure of God free of all ideas of limitation, separation, and better, being more. How can you be more? How can you possibly be more than everything? Everyone who settles for the ego's addiction believes there's more, but you always end up with the same thing, the same identity, same fears, same hates, same strategies. Let it go. Surrender it. And don't allow the temptation to have you. Don't dance with the temptation of the mind. Don't dance with the temptation of the past. Don't dance with the temptation of pain and suffering. Putting all of your eggs in one basket can engender fear, but when you go all in, you're putting all of your bets on God. You're putting all your bets on transformation. You're putting all your bets on love. And as each element of your identity falls away, you breathe so much more easily. You have trust so much more easily. And you have courage that you find in the center of your being, but you're not alone. You're not alone in that courage. You're with God in that courage. And that becomes your solid place, the courage to accept God as the center of creation, and that you are God's treasure, and that you won't accept anything else. You don't want to hear anymore the shuffling of the cards, the clicking of the coins. None of it is interesting anymore. Love and harmony and peace is what you're here for. Completely in surrender. One illusion. One illusion. My name is Sippity Doodah. One illusion, cherished and defended against the truth, makes all truth meaningless. You can't have one illusion just as a safety over here. I'm going to keep this illusion. One illusion. My name is, and I believe it. Or one statistic. How old are you? One illusion. Imagine that you tear up your paperwork that has all your information on it, that says who you are and what you are and everything about you. And you burn it because it's one illusion. You still use it in the world because the world still expects it, but you have no attachment to it anymore. Somebody can call you a different name and you don't even need to correct them. It makes no difference. One illusion defended obliterates the truth, and you won't be able to recognize the truth with your one illusion. Forget every idea of right and wrong. There's no good and bad. There's no right and wrong. Every single element within the illusion, when it is surrendered into the hands of the Holy Spirit, then becomes a vehicle for learning. It is no longer just illusion of separation. It now, the form of it, can now be used to learn the truth of your divine self. Can you take all of that identity and give it into the hands of transformation? Take it all. Use it all. There's nothing to keep. And to realize again and again that all that you are was given to you. Not by birth parents on this earth plane, but by the divine creator of all life. The beauty of your being was given to you. All that you are, in truth, was given to you. There's no way to say to someone who has a comment, "You're so smart." Do you say thank you, as if you did that yourself? No, you say, "Thank you, God, for whatever I have is God's. Any inspiration is God's. Anything is God's." There's nothing to own. There's nothing to identify with and hold as an important identity. It's letting it all go and forgetting the classroom that taught to be different, the classroom of the illusion. That would be the classroom where you would be happy to get an F, failed miserably, couldn't make the grade, couldn't forget God, and couldn't let go of being the treasure of God. That would be your best report card. You are the treasure of God. Nothing else can be real. And remembering that in the classroom of the world, this is where the top teaching was an empty heart, a tormented mind, unkindness, jealousy, and fear. That would be the diploma that the illusion would give you. But now it's time for love to shine, and to shine outwardly, to be offered outwardly, to stand in the light and accept that you are holding that God is real and the source of your creation. And you let that strength carry you, speak for you. express itself through you as you offer peace. The glorious life of the treasure of God. Accept it, embrace it, and offer it. And be aware that going back and forth between illusion and reality is extremely painful. So have the intention to stay in truth and to bring that love and healing to everyone that has been called to receive your divine blessings. Only love, spirit are you, holy child of God, safe and whole and holy, free to forgive and free to bless. Accept your innocent heart and let it radiate into humanity's heart. That is your calling. That is the golden compass that directs you. Be that love.